Huge protests across Egypt calling for the resignation of President Mohammed Morsi are continuing overnight. In the capital, Cairo, tens of thousands of people are massed in Tahrir Square and outside the presidential palace. They have vowed to stay on until Mr Morsi steps down. Stones and petrol bombs were thrown at the headquarters of the governing Muslim Brotherhood in the city. 4 people died in violent incidents in provincial cities. The protesters accuse the country's first Islamist president of failing to tackle economic and security problems since taking power a year ago. A presidential spokesman urged the demonstrators to respect the democratic process, referring to Mr Morsi's victory in last year's elections, which were widely seen as free and fair. Meanwhile, Mr Morsi supporters staged a rally in the Cairo suburb of Nasr City. One clear achievement of President Morsi's opponents has been to get so many people out onto the streets, BBC's Middle East editor Jeremy Bowen reports from Cairo. The question they face now is how to fashion a political strategy that can rival the organization of the Muslim Brotherhood, he says. Another big question, he adds, is what the army will do. The defense minister has warned that the military may intervene if Egypt becomes ungovernable. Society split. On Sunday, 1 man was killed and at least 24 injured in Beni Suef, 115 kilometers, 71 miles, south of Cairo, security sources said. According to a report on the Aram News website, Morsi supporters attacked an opposition rally and unidentified gunmen opened fire. The report could not be confirmed independently. In the southern city of Asiad, 3 people died and several were injured when shots were fired at protesters, reportedly by attackers on a motorcycle. According to the health ministry, 253 people were injured across the country during Sunday's protests. In Cairo, unidentified persons attacked the Muslim Brotherhood headquarters, which had been fortified with sandbags earlier. Staff inside said they had not broken in, Reuters news agency reports. Demonstrations were also held in Alexandria, Port Said, Suez and other cities. Presidential spokesman Ihab Fahmy called on all Egyptians to unite and listen to the sound of wisdom. Political diversity necessitates on all parties to abide by the democratic process, he said. And he reiterated that President Morsi was open to a real and serious national dialogue. As darkness fell, the opposition National Salvation Front, NSF, released what it called Revolution Statement 1, calling on protesters across Egypt to maintain their peaceful rallies in all the squares and streets and villages and hamlets of the country, until the last of this dictatorial regime falls. The NSF is among liberal and secular opposition groups which have endorsed a petition organized by the grassroots movement Tamarad, Rebellion, which calls for a snap election. Opposition activists say more than 22 million people have signed it. There was also some evidence of anti-American and anti-Israeli feeling among the protesters, with one flag portraying President Morsi inside a Star of David. The BBC's Ali Makboul in Cairo says many ordinary Egyptians, angered by Mr Morsi's political and economic policies, are taking part in the rally in Tahrir Square. At one point, army helicopters flew over Tahrir Square and dropped Egyptian flags, to cheers from the anti-Morsi crowd, he says. Mr Morsi, who hails from the Muslim Brotherhood, became president on June 30, 2012. His first year as president has been marred by constant political unrest and a sinking economy.